It'd mean a lot. You know, it's my senior year, and I really want to win the conference a lot because I haven't been a starter on a team that's at Bosse has won a conference championship.
Get up, get in the hole, Bosse!
We're going to go out and play our best game. We haven't been able to really think about anything else but the game.
We're about motivation. Kids have to motivate themselves this week.
They know what's at stake, and they know what's on the line, so I think they'll be ready to play Friday night.
WFIA-TV's Touchdown 93 special. Harrison versus Bosse. The battle for the city championship. Brought to you in part by Chelsea's, Dimple Wolf Ford, iMart, King's Great Buys Plus, Old National Bank, and by Premier Video Superstores.
It's what high school football's all about. It's what the teams, the players, of course, the coaches, the fans, and yes, even we, the broadcasters, dream about. The game of the city championship. Hi, everybody. Mike Blake along with Dan Katz. Just a classic, Dan. What two teams, huh?
Well, I'll tell you, this place is really starting to rock. The fans are jamming in here. They're all wearing their red. There's a lot of red to go around because both teams, of course, are red. Should be a fantastic night.
You know, a key factor, we're standing on a field. The groundskeepers have done everything possible. This field's in as good a shape as it possibly can be. But the one thing we don't need is what?
No, rain. Hopefully not. No.
Hopefully not. Right now, let's go to Jeff Lyons back in the studios. Jeff, a lot of people here looking skyward. Are we going to be okay?
Well, Mike and Dan, I think we should be okay. Last week I didn't come through for you, but this week we're not seeing any rain. In fact, let's have a look at live Doppler radar. Nothing showing on the screen to our west, and that should be the case for at least the next couple of hours. We can get that ball game in there. As far as current conditions are concerned, it's 71 out there. Light southeasterly wind at 6, which should benefit the people kicking the ball towards the north, since Enloe Field sits on a north-south direction. And speaking of kickoff, by the time the game starts, temperature should be right around 70. Skies will remain cloudy, and the sun will have been down almost an hour and 15 minutes. You guys look like you're all pumped up and ready out there, and we certainly will hold off the rain throughout the game.
Boy, are you a good guy. Thank you, Jeff. Hey, it is absolutely perfect. If you're coming out, come on out. If not, we got you the best seat in the house. Earlier in the week, you were over here at Enloe Field. Boy, what a team, huh?
Yeah, the Bosse Bulldogs, they definitely are tough. And to go unbeaten over 7 games, you need lots of talent, and you need a little bit of luck. But the Bosse Bulldogs went 7-0 because of their size, speed, and talent. Bosse busted out against North with the Dogs winning 24-14. They survived a scare as well when quarterback Brian Elkins went down with what turned out to be a minor knee injury. A week later, Bosse and Castle played to the identical score. Jerry Cook helped lead his team to a 2-0 record with a pair of sparkling defensive plays. Mac Jacobs added a pair of touchdowns in another 24-14 win. A neighborhood rival a week later as Memorial came in to challenge the Dogs. The Tigers pushed Bosse to the wall, taking the lead. But once again, Mac Jacobs came to the rescue as Bosse goes to 3-0, 28-26. Winning ways continued against Mater Dei and Central as Bosse went to 5-0. But they really showed their power against hapless Henderson County. Mac Jacobs had a field day, running for 6 touchdowns and for over 350 yards in the 54-0 blowout. And just a week ago, the Bulldogs headed for the bowl to try and stay unbeaten against Wright. The Brian Elkins-Deion Fox combination worked well. That helped them manhandle the Panthers 23-6. And with me is that very successful Bosse coach, Jeff May. Jeff, congratulations on a great season so far. Did you expect to be sitting here tonight 7-0?
Well, if someone had told me at the beginning of the season that we were going to be sitting here 7-0, I would have said, you're probably crazy. But I did believe that these kids could do it. I felt like we had the talent. Looking at what we had coming back, I felt like we had the talent. I felt like we were going to be solid offensively and defensively, solid in our kicking game. And with a few fortunate breaks, I felt like we could be 7-0 at this point. But you never really know until you get there. And obviously we feel real fortunate to be here tonight. And the excitement surrounding this game has been fantastic, and we're really looking forward to it.
I'll bet. Now, I know the first 3 games of the season were kind of close, but the last few games, 4 games, I guess, you won like 100-32. I mean, you outscored your opponents by something like 100 points. How do you explain that?
Well, I think we definitely got a lot of point production in the Henderson County game, you know, probably more than we should have. But I think the real key there is our defense. They've been playing very, very well, particularly as of late. The last 3 games, I think we've allowed something like 6 points. It's going to be difficult to hold a very talented Harrison team to that tonight, but we feel like, you know, we're ready. That defense is really going to be a big key tonight, probably for both teams.
Well, we'll be watching, and we wish you all the best of luck, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dan.
Jeff May. Okay, Mike, back to you.
Yes, indeed. Like the Bosse Bulldogs, Dan, as you know, Harrison's a team loaded with talents on both sides of the line of scrimmage. For sure, you're going to see some all-city, perhaps all-conference, maybe even some all-state players before the end of the season. Okay, let's take a look back on how the Warriors got what's been a super season so far.
The Warriors opened against highly regarded Jeffersonville, a game in which Coach Mitch Marsh said Kendall Wilson became a varsity tailback in the second half. He'd scored 2 TDs as Harrison won big, 42-12. Against North, Harrison didn't play particularly well, but they still went on to win as Harrison prevailed 28-21. If there was a turning point in the season, it came Game 3 against Wrights. That's when Harrison's Sean Bennett kept a 90-yard fourth-quarter drive with this run around left end. Harrison beat the Panthers 21-14. 1 week later, Bennett had another big play. This one, a 99-yard run from scrimmage as the Warriors ran away from the Central Bears 53-15. They were now 4-0. On a dismal night in the bowl and down 20-6 in the fourth quarter to Mater Dei, the Warriors stormed back with 21 points in 9 minutes. Wilson on a 68-yard score as they dodged the bullet, beating the Wildcats 27-20. Game 6 would be won by the defense. They would hold Castle in a brilliant goal line stand. They'd go on in the Battle of the Titans to beat the Knights 19-0. Harrison's 7th game would be a shootout against Memorial. But with sensational quarterback Keith Lander throwing for 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers, Harrison turned back the upset-minded Tigers 29-27. They would go to 7-0 and set up tonight's showdown against unbeaten Bosse.
And with me now, of all things, a Bosse grad, Mitch Marsh, class of 59, but tonight, of course, the coach of the Harrison Warriors. Mitch, you've been part of a lot of great games, great tradition. This is not just another game for you personally, is it?
No, Mike, this is a big one. This is as big as I've been in.
Let me ask you this. What goes through, I've watched you for years. Some coaches don't sleep, they don't eat the day before a game. What goes through your mind right now in these very important moments before kickoff? What are you thinking about?
Well, you know, you do try to look at the other teams, see what they might do to you that hurt you early. I think is the biggest factor right now.
Your team, is it healthy?
We're healthy, Mike, yeah.
As you go back, you made the comment that this may be as good a team as you've ever had. You brought back names like Suggs and Watt and Havens and those kids in 74. Not to put the monkey on these kids. May this be the best group you've had?
Well, my years, you know, Don Watson was head coach in 74 and 75 with Suggs, and they were an outstanding group. Both those groups were, but this is probably the best group athletically that I've had.
Key factor, we talk about the field. If it stays like this, will it be a factor either side, or will the speed maybe negate itself?
Well, I think this is the best this field's been in, you know, really this year since early in the year. So they've done a good job of getting the field ready.
Are you surprised to be 7-0? I mean, you know, in this competition down here, we know this is a tough league. Are you surprised to have such an amazing accomplishment so far?
I think everybody would have to be surprised, you know, regardless who they were, to be 7-0 in this league.
You go into the tournament. I know can you put too much emphasis on a game like this?
I don't think so. You know, I mean, this is the end of the season. This is the conference, the city championship. No, I don't think you can put too much emphasis on it.
Mitch, we know this is a key time for you. Thanks for taking it. Good luck, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Mike.
Mitch Marsh, Dan, as you know, and the players will tell you, as the homecoming festivities are going on here, the stomachs are churning. Even as Mike Madriaga, who's we're gonna hear from our boys in the booth in just a few moments. They're keyed up. We're keyed up. Hey, don't go away. There's lots more of Touchdown 93, a preview of the city championship right after this.
For 25 years, Demple Wolf has given you value. Demple Wolf has given you selection. Demple Wolf has given you service and credibility. The 94 models are here now, and Demple Wolf offers you even more of the services you've come to expect from the area's leading Ford Lincoln Mercury dealer. And now, announcing Demple Wolf's newest addition to our quarter-century-old establishment, the Friendly Wolf. Always offering a great selection and low prices. Demple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury. Our people make the difference.
sent your every need, woman, man, or child. I ain't bragging. It's a brand new day. It took a lot to reach the top, and now we're here to stay. I'm every woman. That's how I feel. Every woman. It's about being real.
On the next Live, Kathy Lee catches up with Richard Gere, who has a secret about wife Cindy Crawford.
She's told me over and over again, if anything ever happened between us and she had to leave me, it would be for Reach.
Plus, a grown-up Candace Cameron from Full House, funny lady Anne Marie Johnson from In Living Color, and the soulful sounds of Melissa Etheridge on Live. The news is everywhere, and so is Newswatch. More in-depth coverage.
Tonight in our exclusive special report.
More live news.
Just moments ago, we showed you
weather reports you can count on.
As you can see, Doppler radar shows you just where the storm is.
Whether you live in Indiana, Illinois, or Kentucky, trust the Tri-State's #1 name in news. Newswatch at 5, 6, and 10 on the one for you, WFIE-TV, Channel 14.
A lot of people, earlier in the week, you talked to players from both teams. What about it? Are they keyed up?
Well, this is a big game in any language for the most part, but the players were trying to stay controlled. The coaches obviously were talking about not getting too hyped up, not worrying too much about all the media attention that's been focused on this game, to try to stay controlled and just think about the game and what they need to do. But you know, inside right now in that locker room, or I guess some of them out here on the field, they are very fired up. Now, the team I would imagine that plays under control is the team that's probably going to win and not get too excited.
You know, our colleague, Dean Webster, certainly, he's fired up, too. You know, we were just going to let Dean do this game alone. He was very wise, and he's got a couple of very sharp guys that know these teams very well. Dean, what's the broadcasting lineup for tonight?
Well, let me fill you in here, Mike. I've got the best seat in the house with a couple of guys that really know their football. Mike Madriaga, who used to be the coach at Bosse High School, and Scott Marsh, who used to be a quarterback for Harrison. He also happens to be the son of head coach Mitch Marsh, so we might get even a little bit of extra insight here, right?
Well, you know, I didn't get any big secrets during the week, but I got a couple of things that might help us out tonight, Dean.
All right, being the Harrison expert, give us what's going to happen for the Warriors tonight.
Well, there are really three keys to the night's ball game for the Harrison Warriors. Number one, they've got to contain Mac Jacobs. You're not going to stop him completely, but you've got to contain him somewhat. Number two, you've got to control the ball on offense, because if you've got it, they can't score. And number three, something I think might be really important, is the kicking game. And that's going to be where the team starts on the field with the ball. And if the kicking game can put you deep in your own territory, that's a long way to go for a touchdown.
I want to put you on the spot here. High-scoring game, low-scoring game. That's what everybody's talking about.
I've thought about it all week, and I really think this thing might end up being a pretty high-scoring game. I've had mixed emotions on it, but two high-powered offenses.
We couldn't ask for a better night.
Oh, beautiful night, 70-something degrees all night. It's beautiful out here.
Wouldn't you like to be playing?
Oh, nothing more would please me, I can tell you right now.
Well, I know the guy on the other side, Mike Madriaga, I talked to him earlier, and he'd like to be down the sideline coaching, wouldn't you?
Just coaching, but not playing. Scott can play. These kids are too big, too fast.
Mike, being the Bosse expert here, looking from their standpoint, what do they have to do to beat the Warriors tonight?
Really, I think Larry Parrott's got the biggest headache tonight, and I think, not to overuse this, but there's a triple threat on the Harrison side. They run the best trap in town, and Coach Parrott's going to have to contend with that, and he applies a lot of pressure, but if he does that, he's going to be susceptible to what happens outside, and you let Lander break containment, and you're dead meat because he can go the distance, and I think probably the best athlete on the team may be Bennett, and you look at the passing statistics, and they throw the ball awfully well, so they have a triple threat. It's going to be a headache. You know, I'm going to say opposite of Scott. He's quarterback and likes those points. I really don't look for a high-scoring game because I think speed will negate speed. But darn it, I'm usually wrong.
And you think that Bosse has to come up with the big play?
Oh, I think so. I think Mac has to get into the secondary. Number one, he couldn't do that against Wrights last week, but he's going to have to get into the secondary and use what good Lord gave him, that speed.
Do you think it comes down to how well Jacobs can perform as how well the Bosse offense will go? Do they have enough other weapons?
Oh, Elkins has to have a good game. He hasn't really had a great game, but you don't have to when you got a guy that's going to go the distance for you on big plays, and I think he's going to have a big game for him too.
I asked Jeff May earlier who scares him, Keith Lander or Sean Bennett Moore, and he said the combination. Do you see that happening?
Yes, I really do, but that trap play drove me crazy for 7 years with Mitch. They run it so darn well, and if you're gonna have to stop the trap play, because that's the thing that sets up the rest of the ball game for him, and I don't know. I'm glad Larry Parritt's doing it and not me.
You know, I talked to you earlier in the week, and I said, hey, rain on Friday, and you promised me good weather. Look at it.
No, I knew when we put the tarp up over the stand up there that we chased it away. I brought the tarp down from Bosse Field. That just chased it away, so we're in good shape.
I'm telling you. Coat, I've got my overcoat, I've got my umbrella. I knew it wouldn't rain that way.
We took care of it. Jeff Lyons took care of us this week. Now, I don't forgive him for what he did last week, though.
All right, let's bring Scott back in here, and we need to talk defense just a little bit. How will the Harrison Warriors try to stop the Bosse offense?
Well, you got to believe, Dean, I think they're going to put a lot of guys on the line of scrimmage and just make Bosse do something that they don't want to do, and that's throw the football. They're going to have to gamble a little bit, because if you sit back and wait for Mack, he can run right by you every time.
Jeff May said that even though that 37% that Elkins has, he said it's misleading because there's a lot of drop balls. And you told me earlier today he's going to get a chance to improve on that.
Oh, there's no question about it. We're going to see if that 30% is accurate or not, because he will have some opportunities to throw the football tonight.
It should be interesting. I guess it's going to be a chess match. Each coach making the move. Who gets the right ones? And we're going to talk to the coaches coming up at halftime. Get Mitch Marsh going off the field. Get Jeff May coming back on. It's homecoming here at Bosse High School, and we'll see if the Warriors can upset Bosse's homecoming. Back to you guys.
Boy, Scott Marsh is articulate as he's good at quarterback. He was one of the best. And talk about great. Mike Madriaga, back in the early 60s, an outstanding back at Evansville North High School. They'll be fun to listen to coming up in a few moments. Hey, there's much more to come, isn't there?
Definitely. Now the crowd is starting to really fill into the stands now, but I notice a lot of empty seats. So if you're in the area, come on down, set the VCR, and then go back home and watch the excitement.
That's right. A lot more excitement coming your way. We'll be back with TD Touchdown 93, a preview of the battle for the city championship. It continues at Enloe right after this.
Doctors Meade Mackey and Robert Taylor talk about the area's doctor-owned optical superstore.
At iMarch, you'll get a comprehensive eye exam, choose from thousands of frames, and have your glasses made in about 1 hour.
Our patients tell us they used to pay $200, $300 and more for eyeglasses at the other one-hour places.
At iMart, you don't have to wait for a sale. Our prices are low every day.
And there's no sacrifice in quality or service.
iMart. Glasses in about 1 hour for less.
The electronic things sale continues at King's Great Buys Plus with 12 months same as cash on everything store-wide. If it makes music, does your laundry, shows a picture, or cooks your dinner, it's on sale now with 12 months same as cash. Minimum $250 purchase. The electronic things sale with 12 months same as cash. Only at your locally owned King's Great Buys Plus across from Sam's Club on Vogel Road and in Lawrenceville.
What a difference today makes
in the first morning hour. What a difference today makes. Help your morning get going.
Oh, what a payoff when today starts your day off.
That's the difference today makes. It makes the difference in you.
I'm a wheel watcher.
I'm a wheel watcher. Wheel is America's game.
I'm a wheel watcher.
I'm a wheel watcher. Everybody's playing.
Yes.
I'd like to start.
I'll solve the puzzle. Go ahead. Nice going.
It's America's game.
Once again, Mike Blake and Dan Katz. Welcome back, folks. What a night. Absolutely gorgeous. It couldn't be a better matchup, and we're now less than 10 minutes from the kickoff. You know, earlier this week, another person whom we talked to, Mike Wilson of North.
He's had the bad fortune of losing to both Bosse and Harrison, and he's certainly an expert on those two teams.
Yes, indeed. And right now, we asked him for a scouting report of both clubs. Here's what Coach Wilson of the Huskies had to say.
I think Bosse's got to get into their traditional blitzing, get after a defense. They've got to get penetration and make some hits in the backfield and cause them some disruption. That's their key. Bosse's well set offensively. They've got to make sure they play their traditional great blitzing, quick, stunning defense, and that really disrupts anybody's offense. It would even disrupt Harrison's offense as good as they are. The key for Harrison is sustaining some drives, getting the ball and not making any mistakes, and using the offensive weapons they've got and taking it downfield. It's going to be difficult for Harrison to get as many big plays as they have throughout the year because of Bosse's speed. I think Bosse might be able to prevent them from making the big plays that they normally make. So Harrison's going to have to play more mistake-free and not turn the ball over and not fumble and that sort of thing. I think if they can do that, they can make it tough on Bosse.
Sounds simple, but not so easy, huh?
Yeah, definitely will be tough for both these teams to beat one another, but somebody's going to come out of here a winner tonight, and we'll certainly find out.
You know, Bob Adams, the principal of Bosse, he's got a lot of responsibilities. It's homecoming. He took a pass, but Walt Lewis, the highly respected principal of the Harrison Warriors, we're going to get a principal's view of this awfully important game. Right now, Walt, big night for you. Again, it's got to bring back a lot of memories. You're a Bosse grad, right?
Oh, yes. Lots of time in Inlow Field, Mike.
Let me ask you this. What, from a principal standpoint, what do you hope for in addition to a good game?
Well, be real honest, as a principal, I'm hoping that we have no injuries, that our kids are able to get through this and have a real enjoyable and memorable evening. I hope that we play well and our kids don't embarrass themselves. And then someplace along there, we'd like to beat Bosse.
Let me ask you this. It's been a good year, and it's got to make you proud as an administrator, as a former athlete and coach. You got to be proud of what you see here, both sides.
Oh, we're just having a great year at our school. Our band's in the regional tomorrow. Our cross-country kids are doing great. Our volleyball kids won last night, and we have an undefeated football team. It's just been an outstanding year for our school.
Well, congratulations. Good luck to the Warriors tonight, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks for being here, Mike.
Well, Lewis, listen, Dan, he made a good point. You know, there's battles going on over the city. When we come back, in addition to get you to the kickoff, we'll tell you about games all over the Tri-State. It's a great night in other parts of the cities. There's other games as well. We'll tell you about them in just a moment.
Writing a check has its place. But aren't there a few hassles you'd like to cut out? Like presenting all that ID with a check. Or trying to cash an out-of-town check. If your checks work where credit cards are accepted, that would cut a few corners. And that's what Old National's new bonus check card does. It's the card that works like a check, only better. Old National, your bank for life.
The sea, birthplace of all life. Since time began, its rolling voice has set us dreaming. This fall, some will embark on an adventure beyond imagination, in a future almost close enough to touch.
Son? What do you see out there?
Beneath the surface lies the future.
Sequest, Sunday nights at 7 on the One for You, WFIA-TV, Channel 14.
I'm a wheel watcher. I'm a wheel watcher. Wheel is America's game. I'm a wheel watcher. I'm a wheel watcher. Everybody plays.
Yes.
I'd like to stop.
I'll solve the puzzle. Go ahead.
Ooh.
Nice going.
It's America's game.
Here come the Bulldogs to Enloe Field. Hey, in addition to the East Bowl battle here tonight, want to tell you North and Central at Central Stadium. Memorial is up in Paradise. It's not Paradise for Tigers fans. They're taking on the Castle Knights, who want to win big. And, of course, in the bowl, neighbors, brothers, family against family, rights against modern day. South Spencer hosts Heritage Hills. We'll have that for you. A slew of games. Owensboro, second ranked against Davis County in the Commonwealth. Dan and IOC on Touchdown 93. Hey, they're ready.
Mike, the crowd is getting ready to explode, and they are ready for a great game tonight, and it looks like what we're going to have.
The drums are beating, the hearts are stomping, and the feet are pounding as well. Hey, have a good one, everybody. Mike Lake along with Dan Katz. We'll see you at 10 o'clock, but right now, for the battle of the city championship, let's take it to Dean Webster. Dean.
There may be bigger rivalries in Indiana, but there will be no bigger game tonight as the Harrison Warriors, 7-0 and fourth ranked in Class 5A, will meet the third ranked team in the Class 4A poll, the undefeated Bosse Bulldogs. And as we said before, it is homecoming for Bosse, and we are expecting an outstanding game between two very, very talented teams. First of all, Scott Marsh, you said the Harrison Warriors balance, and we're going to see a lot of talented athletes out there for the Warriors tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll want to distribute the ball to as many weapons as they have, Dean. They've got 3 or 4 guys that really can hurt Bosse's defense, and they've got Bennett and Kendall Wilson and Matt Elliott and a couple of other guys back there, Sean Bennett, Keith Lander. I mean, really, they're really evenly matched in the backfield.
Mitch Marsh said that this may be as balanced a team as he's had for a long, long time.
Well, generally in high school football, you find that you might have 1 or 2 really good athletes, and they're in an unusual situation where they have 3 or 4 or 5 type guys that can really go to the end zone.
The starting lineups for tonight for the Bosse Bulldogs, and it's a good bunch, and especially along that big offensive front line. And Mac Jacobs, an outstanding running back. He will have Deion Fox in front of him, and of course Brian Elkins will be the starting quarterback. He came on at the end of last year. The fullbacks, Sean Cook, and the wideouts, Jerry Cook and Jay Wright. And Wright is a good one. He can get in he can get deep in the secondary. And as we said, along that front line, it is very, very good. You've got some pretty big guys in there like Chin, 6 foot, 235. And you've got one sophomore in there. That's number 51, James Edwards. And they've got him on the right side, so you figure the 6'1", 195-pound sophomore can get the job done. The Harrison defense, Scott, you know them well. You even end up at practice some and watching these guys.
No question about it. One of the keys on the line is number 52, Ed Hathaway. He's a big 6'3", 226-pound tackle, along with Chip Kimberline and Chad Barnett. Those guys are really going to have to control the line of scrimmage.
And the linebackers do an outstanding job, don't they?
One of the best linebackers in town, I think, is Chad Lamar, number 41. He'll be the anchor. He'll also have Kevin Sissel and Sean Bennett on each side of him.
We are about ready for kickoff. We'll get to those defensive backs in just a moment. And we are ready to get this undefeated. And look at this. It's an onside kick, and it looks like I think the Warriors have it, and they do. Well, what do you think about that?
Well, it's something a little bit different. You thought they might kick it on the ground to keep it away from Jacobs, but an onside kick is the heck of a way to start the football game.
That's not the way maybe a coach would expect things to start on the Bosse side, Mike.
Well, that's a gutsy call on Mitch's part. It's not a high percentage thing, but it pays off. Now we see what happens. I told you Larry Parrott had some headaches. He'll find out right now.
Here come the Warriors, 1st and 10. And it's hard to see the hash marks because there's a lot of dirt out there. Marking on about their own 47. And the give is to Wilson up the right side, and he is stacked up by a good Bosse defense.
Yeah, I tell you, Larry's played it pretty straight right there, game. No blitzing there. He just wanted to take a look, see what was there, and pretty basic play to start with.
You said Larry Parrott, of course, he's the defensive coordinator, and he's the guy that, for the Bosse guys, that really gets the defense ready.
He does.
A loss of about a yard. 2nd and a long 10 here. Backed it up almost to the 46-yard line. The Warriors have Bennett in motion coming to the near side. Right up the middle to Lamar, and Lamar is stuck right in the middle.
That's the trap we were talking about, Dean, and they stopped it the first time, but you got to keep your eye on that play. It's going to come at you a bunch of times during the ball game.
Nice defensive play then there by Fox and another player, but you're right, Coach. What that was really one block away from being a pretty big gainer.
It was. They're playing man in the secondary, and there was no one there.
Looks like they've got Moser almost up on the line. The middle linebacker is lining up in the defensive tackle position and going right over the left guard. 3rd and 9. Lander hides the ball well. He's going up top. He's got Bennett in and out of Bennett's hands at the 25-yard line.
That doggone Lander, he faked so well, and he was out. He wasn't trying to break containment there, but he had all kinds of time.
A great athlete, really moves around back there.
Yeah, the play action that time helped Bosse's linebackers in there. Bennett went down and did what's called a post flag route, and Germania Woolfolk was back there in really good coverage right with Bennett every step of the way, Dean.
So we'll see a look at the Bosse offense if everything goes according to Hoyle here.
Here's the first part of that kicking game I was talking about.
Field position, very important. Sean Bennett gets it, and it's not going to be taken by a Bulldog. And it's going to be down by the Warriors inside the Bosse 20 at about the 15-yard line. So the Dogs are going to start their first series down at the 15-yard line.
About where you expected them to start a while ago. So now we'll start now and see exactly what Mitch has got in mind here to stopping Big Mac.
We have waited a long time for a game that has 2 undefeated teams at the end of the season, and this is the first time, I guess, in Evansville this has happened. The crowd, as you can see, is fired up. This game for the city championship, the conference championship, and an undefeated regular season. Brian Elkins under center, and he gives it right up the middle. And it looked like Sean Cook was the starting fullback that time instead of Deion Fox, so we'll keep an eye out on why Fox maybe wasn't in the lineup there to start the game.
And he ran dead smack into Ed Hathaway, defensive tackle, senior lineman there for Evansville Harrison.
Is that where he lined up, Scotty? Was it a defensive tackle that time?
He's lining up at tackle now. He had moved around from linebacker at one point. Now he's up at tackle.
Now he's back at a linebacker now, though, isn't he?
Yes, he is. You're right.
They tried to get the ball on a quick opener on that trap play, but you can bet Jacobs is going to get the ball this time, and he does, and he breaks it out. He's got one man to beat, and an outstanding defensive play by Marshawn Merriweather might have saved a touchdown as Mac Jacobs with some blinding speed.
See, that's something Mac wouldn't do last year. He looks to cut back, and he's proven to be a little tougher back, and that's going to help him.
Here it is again.
So he looks for the cutback there, Dean, and he's a strong kid. He's been in the squat rack.
Jeff May said that he is becoming a more complete back week by week, meaning he can cut back, run over people, and Jacobs is going to get it. Boy, why not give it to him if he's going to get the job done? But this time, it looked like Kimberlin and Bennett both there.
Yeah, Sean Bennett came up from his outside linebacker position that time, Dean, and really put a pretty good hit on Mac Jacobs. And anytime you can tackle Mac one-on-one, you've done a great job on defense, I'll tell you.
Sean Bennett, you know, he's not only a great football player, the kid's a 4.0 student. He's figured this game out.
Bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs. We're just underway in the first quarter. 8 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. Elkins turns around and gives it to the big guy. He goes off right tackle, and again, the Harrison defense stacks him up.
At that time, the Harrison defensive line kind of controlled the line of scrimmage, Dean, and Mac didn't have a chance to get into the secondary and make those cuts that he can make. So we're seeing right now who can win that war in the trenches, and on that particular play, it happened to be the Warriors.
Mike, you said that one of the keys to the game, Brian Elkins is going to have to throw the ball. We may see our first test right here.
Right, and I don't think Coach wants to just be a third down passing team. He's got to dictate when he passes.
That's a good point.
Just can't wait for thirds.
Will the Warriors come after him here?
Good chance of it, Dean, good chance.
They've got 5 guys on the line of scrimmage defensively, and they go to pass it. Elkins has got a man, and it's underthrown. Wilson with some pretty good coverage there, and it was Elton Funches
He had a whole bunch of folks surrounding the ball, but no one's really going for it.
Yeah, there were players from both teams in the area, but the ball fell a little bit short. I guess it was good for Elkins that it fell to the ground because the Harrison defensive backs were really in pretty good coverage.
Andy Scheller, who kicked 3 field goals against Wrights last week, is also the Bosse punter.
He's a super kicker, and you don't get that in high school very often. Now he can double as a punter. That's a real asset for the Bosse Bulldogs.
He gets it away. It is about his own
kick.
23. Lander and Bennett let it go. I think Bennett's a little disgusted he didn't pick it up. And Lander back there to field the punts. He returned one against the Bulldogs a year ago.
You would suspect those two kids would field every ball. They don't want to lose any yardage. They're a dangerous tandem. I've watched them crisscross back there. They can be tough.
Well, I've been on that Harrison sideline before, and one of the things Coach Marsh, a big pet peeve, is you got to field those punts because you lose a lot of yardage as that ball's rolling down towards your end zone.
That was about a -7 because
yeah, exactly.
The Warriors may have been lucky. It wasn't worse than it turned out to be. They're going to start on about their own 26. Lander looking to throw the ball. He's got Bennett out over the 30.
Where did he line up there, Scott?
He started in flanker and came across in motion and went out in the flats. And I tell you, something you mentioned, Coach, a while ago, Bosse's going to not want to, they're not going to want to throw on 3rd and long, and I don't think Harrison does either. You see Lander gets the ball out to Bennett in a flat, and if he gets out and breaks his tackle right here, that could be gone for 6.
Jay Wright did a nice job that time of coming over. Lander on a 2nd and 3, an offensive coordinator's dream. The Bulldogs look like they're coming with some pressure. Lander gets it away. It's to Bennett again. And Bennett's got some big yardage out to about the 45-yard line.
Well, basically the same play, only the other direction. And one of the things that I hear in football a lot of times is, hey, run it till they stop it, you know. And that's probably the philosophy on that play. If we picked up 8 or 9 on the first one, let's go at it again.
During our pregame show, we talked to Mike Wilson, the North coach, and we heard from him. He said that Bosse has to get in and disrupt things. And right now they're getting in there, but they're not disrupting.
They've got to get a little closer to Keith Lander because he's really a headsy kid. He's not going to let you make a mistake.
Lander has not been sacked through the first 7 games. That's quite an astounding stat right there. And that, as we just say it, the first time Keith Lander has gone down in a game.
Dean, you knew as soon as you said that he was going to get sacked. And that was the first time Coach stepped both inside linebackers up, and they came hard. They were coming with 6 people.
He absolutely had Matt Elliott all by himself down at about the 30-yard line.
Well, that's what you do. You gamble on defense. You fire your backers, and what you're saying is, hey, I'm going to get to the quarterback before you can get to that wide-open receiver downfield. And that time, Bosse won that gamble.
The Bulldogs may be forcing Harrison into a passing situation here at 2nd and 17, and we'll see if the Bulldogs come again. They don't. It's a delay. It's to Wilson, and there's not much room up the Bosse middle. Out just about back to the 40-yard line, maybe a pickup of about 3, and it's for certain the Warriors will have to go to the air here.
Well, you would think definitely a passing situation and about 15 yards to go for the first down. Look for another play action. It's buying them a little bit of time, and also keep an eye for Sean Bennett downfield somewhere.
I can't believe the crummy weather we have had so far. We're sitting here in the middle of October. I've got a short sleeve shirt on. This is great.
You just jinxed the quarterback. Now, just don't jinx the weather.
On 3rd and 15, Lander brings them up. Bosse doesn't send a whole lot of people to screen left. And an outstanding job. I think it was Fox.
It was.
Boy, great job there by Deion Fox.
Dean, did you notice that on that 3rd long, they brought Matt Jacobs out, and they double-covered Sean Bennett, put Jacobs up close on him. They're going to try to take Sean away on sure passing downs. Now, I know Mitch had looked at that. The guys upstairs saw that. Something funny's going to happen on the other side.
You know, you guys are good. I wish we had one of those little pens that could draw on the TV. We could really do some artwork up here.
You might not get us to stop, though.
We have flags flying.
I think that's encroachment on Bosse, and of all people, the outside guy jumps. Got to look at the ball.
I think he was trying to get in there, and maybe they're going to go after the punter here.
One of the things coming into the ball game that struck me, Dean, was Bosse had been penalized coming in tonight for 468 yards. Harrison had only been penalized for about 170, so I'm sure that's, you know, in a close, big ball game, those are big things.
That is really big. That is quite a disparity there. Bennett gets it off, and there's going to, not going to be roughing the punter. They said it was blocked into him. And the ball is going to end up way down inside. Looks like they're going to down it at about the 12.
I think you're right, Dean, about that. I think Bagby was right on the play, and the guy went into the air, but the up back blocked him into it.
4 minutes left to go, first quarter. No score from Enlow Field.
If you thought 1993 was a good year at your local Ford dealer, we've got even more for 94. Like dual airbags, standard on every 94 Ford cars, Thunderbird, Crown Victoria, and Probe. Plus, Thunderbird has the new, more powerful V8 and an all-new wraparound instrument panel. And this year, every Ford car and truck comes with 24-hour roadside assistance. So expect more for 94 when you check out America's #1 cars and trucks. Any questions? Your Ford dealer has the answers. Save on all the 94s at your local Ford dealer today.
Greeley's is making weekends twice as good. Friday and Saturday, it's Greeley's famous Fiddler Dinner Special with all the fixins for $5.95. And Sunday, enjoy Greeley's wonderful Sunday buffet for $8.95. And just $3.95 for kids under 12. Friday and Saturday, our Fiddler Special. Sunday, our Sunday buffet. 2 more reasons why Greeley's is the nicest thing to happen to downtown since the river. Greeley's.
Well, we played 8 minutes of football, and we are scoreless. And, guys, we've seen an onside kick. We've seen Mac Jacobs get loose here a little bit. Your impressions through the first part?
Well, you know, I thought it might be a scoring football game, but I was obviously wrong. And at this point, the defenses are doing a great job, Dean. They've contained the big players on each side, and they're kind of feeling each other out. We also haven't seen a whole lot of tricks on either side of the football, so you got to believe that Coach May, Coach Marsh, they've got a few things left for the rest of this football game.
Well, we've almost, there's Mac going wide there. What I was going to say, you almost saw 2 big plays, so I'm not going to say there's not going to be some points scored. Had Bennett broken the tackle down here early, and again with Mac, had he broken 1 tackle, we'd had long plays. So the offense is out there.
We're about 2 tackles away from being 7-7 here, guys, and I think it's only a matter of time before we see one of these speedsters break away. If Bennett gets in the secondary, there's nobody that's going to catch him from Bosse, and likewise, if Jacobs gets in the secondary, I don't think there's anybody on Harrison's team that's going to chase him down.
There may not be anybody in the state that can chase him down.
I was going to say that. You may be right there. Jacobs off left tackle, and he is again stopped.
68 made a great tackle there, because I think Mac was looking to the outside. He would have some motoring room.
That's Zach Hopkins came in from his defensive end position and just got a shoestring on Mac, but held on just long enough to pull him down. And I think you're right, Coach. I think he might have had a chance of really popping that thing outside.
You know, the keys, I think, tonight for that Harrison defense is Zach Hopkins on the one defensive end and Chip Kimberlin on the other. They're going to really have to try to contain. And you've got Hopkins on the near side here, way outside past the tight end. Elkins looking to throw the ball. He does. And his receiver fell down over there.
We had a slip, but I don't want to hear it was because of wet ground out there.
That was Adrian Hoskins. Amo lost his footing as he made the cut, so the Bulldogs looking at a 4th down and 6, and I'm impressed with that Harrison defense right now.
I am. And you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for Woolfolk to come in and get us a tight flanker here pretty soon, because that's a tip-off that he's going to be coming back on some kind of reverse.
Jacobs lines up as the blocker in front of Scheller.
You always got to be aware of that.
That's right. Scheller gets off a pretty good spiral, and this time it's going to be taken by Bennett. Are they going to fake the reverse? No, Bennett's got it along the far side, and he is down and out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. 2.5 minutes left to go. The Warriors ready to go on the offense.
If you are a state employee residing in Henderson or Union County, you have a new health care option. Kentucky Care Premier offers lower deductibles, lower co-insurance, no balance billing, plus deductibles waived on all prescriptions. Kentucky Care Premier and Community Care Network have joined forces to provide state employees this option. With all these benefits and more, this is one option you do not want to miss. Sign up for Kentucky Care Premier today. For local assistance, call Community Care Network. Community Methodist Hospital. Excellence in health care.
We're back in action, and the Warriors wasting no time, putting it in the air. Bennett down at about the 15-yard line, and look where Keith Lander ends up. Bennett was on the ground, and so was Lander.
That was interesting, Scott. You said before he was buying a lot of time. Was that a play-action play there, just straight back?
Pretty well a sprint draw that time, and not much of a fake that time, Coach. It didn't hold anybody, didn't fool anybody. Bennett really wasn't that open. The ball was thrown in the only spot that it could be thrown in, where if Bennett could have got it, but nobody else could have.
Guys, this may be as dirty as Keith Lander's uniform has been all season long. He's been on his backside a couple of times. I'm about ready to see one of those Bennett reverses here. And they faked it. They've got, an outstanding catch by Kendall Wilson. Oh, my.
Fantastic play that time. Kendall came out from his tailback spot, went down and just did about a 12-yard corner route and made a fantastic catch. We see Lander rolling after the fake, bought himself some time, and he's got tremendous touch.
I thought he was going to throw the ball to Lamar for about a 10-yard gain.
That was a good fake, and Kendall Wilson just made an outstanding grab to pick up a first down for Harrison.
He stays on his feet. That's 6 points.
Oh, yeah.
The Warriors threatening down at the 15. 1st and 10, 2 minutes to go, first quarter. Lander barks out the signals and gives it to the guy who just made the outstanding catch, and Kendall Wilson. He goes over the right side for about 3 or 4.
Well, if he's hot, get it to him again. You never know. Something might happen.
You know what might have set up that pass play is Bennett went back on a fake reverse, and you really swung the secondary around with him. They're so leery of where he's going to be. You're going to find some single coverage on the rest of these guys.
You know, a lot of times the Warriors can use Bennett as a decoy almost as effectively as they can giving him the ball.
No question.
Make it 2nd and 8. They only give Wilson a couple of yards as he busted off the right side. Chad Lamar in front of Wilson. Lamar, 6 foot 194. And Lander, Mitch Marsh said he's a magician with the ball, and he gets it in for the score.
And you're right, Dean. That was Lander all the way.
And Matt Elliott, an outstanding route in the corner, caught that ball on his knees. An outstanding throw, and really, it was that magical work of Keith Lander.
Here he comes. He gets away from Frazier. Does a fantastic job of keeping his feet. He's got Elliott in the back of the end zone, and Elliott goes down to his knees, makes a great grab, touchdown.
That is a great one. And Zach Hamby, the soccer player, his soccer season is now over, and he's ready to play football full time. It's down, it's up, it's good. With 1:10 left to go, first quarter, the Warriors lead it 7-0.
You know, when my husband Michael got hurt in an accident, I knew I needed help, but I didn't know what to do. I was leery of attorneys, the legal process. With the house, the kids, and all of a sudden no income, I couldn't leave our future in the hands of an insurance adjuster. Having gone through this, I know what to do. Get legal help. Protect yourself. Protect your family.
If you've been injured, contact Lopp and Zoss. Why? Because your life matters.
A 37-yard touchdown drive set up by the punt return of Sean Bennett.
And one of the keys to the game, I said, was a kicking game, Dan, and Harrison won that war and got the ball on the 37-yard line. And if you only have to go 37 yards, Coach Madriaga's been there 100 times. I'd much rather go 37 than 67.
It gives you 4 plays to work with.
That's right.
And you talked about that kicking game, how they don't want to get it to Jacobs, and Harrison just booted it straight ahead, and it gives the Bulldogs great field position.
Well, that's the gamble. That's a risk you take if you don't want to get it back to Mack, and he goes all the way. But you also give Bosse, I mean, just incredible field position.
Maybe that's showing confidence in your defense.
I think it's showing fear of Mac Jacobs.
I guess it's better to have the ball on the 43 than
in the other end zone,
than being ready to take a kickoff.
That's right.
Exactly right.
Seconds are ticking away here in the first quarter. An outstanding night for football. It's in the upper 60s. There's no rain anywhere. And we've got a great football game. Elkins back to pack, gets away from one defender, and he gets it out on the far side.
That's Frazier. He got the ball to. Big tight end went over and just sat down. And then Elkins broke containment, made the cornerback have to make a decision. He came up, and he had a wide open target.
Frazier, one of those underclassmen. He's 6'4" and 220 pounds.
That was a great move by Elkins. he bought himself that extra time, and exactly like Coach called it, that corner had to make a decision. He decided to go after the quarterback. Elkins laid it over. That's a confidence he's going to need to have a good night right there.
On the 45-yard line, Elkins sets him 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs and give it to the main man. That's Jacobs, and he's got a pickup of about 5 yards as he busts off the right side.
You know, Scott, it's like a time bomb waiting to go off.
Oh, man.
You know, and I know on this side of the field, too, doggone, when you're playing defense, this defensive coordinator right here in front of us, he's just waiting for something big like that to pop. But they're doing a heck of a job defensively.
Well, in that situation, Harvey Robbins, the defensive coordinator, trying to get his guys to use the sideline as an extra player, and you might give up Jacobs 3 or 4 yards and you run him out of bounds because at least he's not going to the end zone on you.
Guys, one of the speedsters for Bosse is coming to the near side. That's Prince Coleman. He can flat out move, and Elkins has got him on the outside. Let's see if they decide to throw the ball. Heck no, they give it back to Jacobs, and he busts off the right side, and he's down a couple of yards short of that 1st down, and he is just following Fox off that right side, and Mosier, the right guard, is doing an outstanding job on that right side.
He is, and Fox is really unheralded. He's a tough back. First of all, he's a great linebacker, and he really gets out and clears away from Mack.
I think Fox, Coach, I think he's one of the top all-around players in the city. I've seen him play for a couple of years in a row, and he puts his heart on the line every time he goes on a football field.
It's Mr. Fox around here.
That's exactly right.
We've got a couple of dandy fullbacks in this one, and we have played 1/4 of this game. And right now, the Harrison Warriors having the better of it. 7-0. We're back with quarter number 2 right after this.
Cashing a check was hard enough when all you needed was 2 pieces of ID. But now...
I see you have a blue card, yellow card, green card, and gold card, Mr. Gray. But here you need a green, gross, or red card. So follow the magenta line to the blue counter and have Mrs. White green light your red card.
All you really need is the bonus check card from Old National Bank. It's accepted virtually all over town because it's not a check cashing card. It's the card that works like a check, only better. From Old National, your bank for life.
The blue is you, Mr. Gray.
Doctors Meade Mackey and Robert Taylor talk about the area's doctor-owned optical superstore.
At iMart, our goal is to give you the best value in eye care.
Only iMart gives you both lower prices and 1-hour service.
That's right. iMart is a full-service eye care superstore offering 1-hour service, thousands of frames, and eye exams every day.
Only iMart gives you all this, plus the sensible approach of store-wide discount pricing every day.
iMart. Glasses in about 1 hour for less.
Back at Inlow Field, 7-0 Harrison Warriors. And guys, we talked at the break, it has been an outstanding half, technically a football.
Oh, it's been outstanding. Everything has been billed. The only thing we haven't got are the big plays yet, and I'm just waiting for something to pop here on both sides of the line.
The touchdown 93 camera of Dan Katz has joined us up here in the booth, and you will see all the action of this game and more. And we've got some action now with Fox going right up the middle, and that's an outstanding trap play.
Did you notice there, Scott, that Big Ed came on a full blitz, and maybe one of the few times he comes hard like that, he ran right by it.
He was looking for Mack, no question about it, as he's flying by, and Fox goes by him, and that play was a big play last week against Wright for the Bulldogs.
You're right, and when you get to singling in on one guy, that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Here we come up on another 1st down for the Bulldogs. They're at the 25-yard line of the Warriors, threatening. We just had a score in that end zone, and now the Bulldogs trying to provide a little excitement for their fans. Elkins barks the instructions, looking to throw the ball. He throws it to the outside. That's Cook, and Cook's got the ball down at about the 13-yard line.
That reminded me of you, Scott. That's the type of out pattern that you lived on there. Take a 3-step drop, and it's a timing pattern. I never had to coach against you doing that. It was a headache.
Jerry Cook with an outstanding catch and a good throw by Elkins.
Well, real good throw. It's just a timing route, like Coach said, 3 steps and throw it to the outside. Harrison, defensive man, was back on his heels, couldn't make a reaction to it. And really a nice play, and Elkins is performing well right now.
Another 1st down for the Bulldogs. And Elkins showing that he can throw the ball a little bit when needed. They give it to Fox again, and Big Dion, who most of the guys on the team just call him Sir. In fact, Jeff May said most of us coaches call him that too.
He's a big football player, but he's got a big heart. That's what makes him a special type kid on the field.
5'10", 215 pounds. And he averages 8.7 yards a carry. So when he gets it, he usually makes things happen. Of course, most of the defense is looking at Jacobs.
He can ramble. He's got nice speed.
Inside the 10-yard line now. 2nd and 7. Elkins brings them up, and they've got that Fox Jacobs eye right behind him. And you can bet right now they're going to give it to Jacobs until they can prove they stop him. And what a block by Fox. But an outstanding play by Kendall Wilson. And I'm not kidding you guys, Deion Fox just took out about 3 guys on that Harrison defense.
He did. That's a pretty good carry for Mack, too. You're going to see he had great balance there. Could have stopped about the 8. Took her down to, what, the 3 or 4 there?
I think he's inside looking for a first down. Great lead block, like you said.
I think he got it. I think we got first and go. Great balance, as you see here on the replay. Put that hand down.
They've got 4 downs now, Dean, to pop it in there. You got to believe Jacobs is going to get it a couple of times.
You got a feeling that they're just going to put, well, they got Sean Cook in there now, and they've taken Fox out.
Kind of the bone formation here.
They've also got Woolfolk, but you can bet Jacobs is going to get it. He's going to go on the far side. He's trying to cut it back in, and he's in for the score, but I believe we've got a flag down on the near side.
I'm not sure that the lineman was set. Do you? I think you have to be set a full count. I think he went down, and then we started.
I saw it was kind of an accordion effect along the front line there. One guy went down, the next guy went down. And one thing we haven't talked about yet, maybe the noise is a little bit of a factor, and that time the front line didn't hear the count real well.
Yeah, they're right there in front of the Harrison student body. That may be the 12th guy there to help them out.
You don't get that much at a high school football game, but if it's one of this magnitude, we've almost got a full house here tonight.
I don't know where you'd put an extra seat. There's about 6,000 people in Enloe Field tonight.
I hate to sound like an athletic director, but boy, that looks good.
That's a lot of money for the school corporation, isn't it?
We'll take it.
And you can bet the other stadiums around the area are filled up tonight, too. Some outstanding matchups, and Mike Blake will have all that on Touchdown 93 during Newswatch at 10. And right now, the Bosse Bulldogs trying to get in on 1st and 9. Elkins looking to throw it, and he just throws the ball away, and it's an incomplete pass.
His primary receiver there was Mac Jacobs out of the split backfield. He is heading for the corner of the end zone, but Harrison's seen that play all year long. They've scored 3 touchdowns on that.
Yeah, once again, Zach Hopkins came through with a nice play and put some pressure on Elkins and made him throw it a little bit before he wanted to, but Elkins did a nice job of getting rid of the ball because it's really potential sack.
Elkins looks pretty comfortable back there, really, guys. He's getting a lot of pressure. He stood in there pretty well and got rid of the ball and avoided the loss. So it's 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. Back in is Cook in front of Jacobs. Prince Coleman to the near side. Elkins is going to throw the ball again. He throws it high, and it's going to be intercepted. It's a good catch, and I believe it's Sean Bennett.
No, I tell you who it is. It's Jeremy Redd, sophomore.
Jeremy Redd, the sophomore, comes in. Redd comes in the nickel defense.
He's been starting all year. Back in, they've moved him from linebacker to corner. He's just playing one-on-one, man-to-man out there. Gets great position, cuts underneath the football, goes up, just like you coach it. You go up and get it at its highest point, bring it in. That's a big play for the Harrison defense.
The 6', 184-pound sophomore. That's right, a sophomore.
That's right.
And so it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Warriors at the 20. So the Warrior defense bends but does not break, and they come up with the ball. And this is Lamar, and boy, Lamar struggles for a couple of yards, and he pounded away. He may have lost a yard.
He may have lost. That's the hardest fought lost yard I've ever seen in football. I tell you, he just kept bouncing and bouncing and bouncing.
He broke 6 tackles and lost a yard.
We can't see it from this vantage point, Scott, but I noticed before the ball was snapped, there was no one further than 4 yards from the ball defensively on that, and they were meshing there pretty tough.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to see actually, both sides of the football are doing about the same thing. Harrison's got to probably try to go deep sometime.
Stewart comes to the near side, and the flanker on the near side, that's Bennett. Bennett has blinding speed. He gets in the secondary, it's over.
There you go.
And Lander is going to be tackled and brought down at the 5. They're going to mark it at about the 8-yard line, and Keith Lander sacked for the 2nd time tonight. He has not been sacked the first 7 games of the season, and Bosse is coming after him with relentless pressure.
Scott, that wasn't play action, was it?
That time he was just rolling out to the left, and it looked like several Bosse guys came through really untouched, and that time the Harrison line didn't do a very good job of protecting Keith Lander.
A concerned coach there.
Oh, no question about it. You get the ball back down in here, you just want to hold on to it and hope you can get a great punt.
Third and
a bunch.
A mile.
On a bunch.
I think at this point you're just trying to get a few yards on this play to come up with a decent area to punt in. Wilson to the near side. They get it out on a one-hopper to Bennett. I guess they'll call that a lateral.
Well, it looked like it hit the ground.
It looked to me.
That's going to bring up 4th down, and Scott, you've alluded to it earlier, the kicking game will come into play now.
Well, now it's just going to be Harrison wants to get a good snap back to Bennett, and then hopefully Sean, gets his foot into it. They want to try to cover this because Bosse, no matter what happens here, is going to end up with excellent field position.
Woolfolk and Cook back.
They're coming.
Standing on about the 43-yard line.
Yeah, boy.
Here come the Bulldogs. He gets it away. Bennett gets it away. Woolfolk takes it at the 37. He's up to about the 25-yard line, and the Bulldogs are going to have outstanding field position.
It'll be tough to stop them 2 drives in a row inside the 30-yard line this time. They were just really a hand tackle away from going last time.
And I remember back in the Wrights game where Wrights got inside that 5 about 3 times in the first half and didn't score. Harrison's going to be tested the same way. They got their back against the wall again.
Will Bosse go with the pass this time, or are they going to give it to Jacobs every time and let him grind one out here?
You're going to see 4 plays on the ground here for a while until they stop it.
Coach May has taken his turn at the aerial attack, you think?
Far now.
Wright comes to the near side. Elkins with a little. I tell you what, that was play action a little bit.
Look out. Goodbye.
And Jacobs is going to be in for the score. And guys, that pass that they have been throwing has set that play up.
Right, and Mack made a heck of a cut coming back against the grain. But you're right, there's a little dipsy-doodle there in the backfield.
Jay Wright made a great block from his flanker position. You watch this. He's going to set up, and he's going to hit Marshawn Merriweather. Or actually, it was earlier before that.
You're right.
Mac Jacobs from 25 yards out. And if Andy Scheller can convert on the extra point, we're going to be all knotted here at 7-7 with 7:07 left to go here in the first half.
If there's better football going on in Indiana, I want to know where it is right now, because this is a great football game.
6,000 people, and a lot of them are on their feet, especially down in that Harrison section. They want their guys to come back. And again, it sneaks just inside. And we are tied. 7:07 left to go, first half.
We got the latest, the hottest in stock right now at Premier Video. One-stop convenience is what you expect at Premier Video. It's what you get. We got more copies of what you're looking for. A world of video when you walk through the door. We got the latest, the hottest in stock right now at Premier Video.
For 25 years, Demple-Wolf has given you value. Demple-Wolf has given you selection. Demple-Wolf has given you service and credibility. The 94 models are here now, and Demple-Wolf offers you even more of the services you've come to expect from the area's leading Ford Lincoln Mercury dealer. And now, announcing Demple-Wolf's newest addition to our quarter-century-old establishment, the Friendly Wolf. Always offering a great selection and low prices. Demple-Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury. Our people make the difference.
It was a quick 25-yard drive, and I think we've kicked it off a little prematurely. I think Scheller jumped the gun. He was ready. Unfortunately, the officials were not.
I don't know that they'll make the call on this. They're going to talk about this. I think Scheller heard a pseudo whistle there. We were waiting for the TV to come in, and Scheller went ahead and kicked the ball. They could penalize him here because that is a rule. If he kicks prematurely, it's a 5-yard penalty. But they're going to waive it off, I think.
We're going to talk to the...
They waived it off.
You can't blame Andy. He was just trying to get it down there before the Warriors were ready. 7-7. Mac Jacobs just tied things moments ago on a 25-yard beautiful cutback run.
You know who the most surprised guy in the world was? Bagby. He's supposed to blow the whistle, get this thing started, and here the ball's coming at him, so he had to do something. That's a good crew. I want to say that before we kick the ball off again. The Bagby crew is one of the best crews in Indiana. I think they can go all the way to a sectional final this year, and rightfully so.
They do a nice job. We've got some good officials in this area.
A lot of good crews.
So Scheller tees it up again, and everybody is ready, including television this time. 7:07 left to go, first half. The undefeated Bosse Bulldogs against the undefeated Harrison Warriors. I'm Dean Webster, along with Scott Marsh.
They haven't heard
Mike
the whistle.
Madriaga. Scheller was going to make sure this time. It goes right through one of the Warriors, and Bennett's going to pick it up at about his 2-yard line. He busts it back up over the 15, and he's going to be taken down at about the 17-yard line. And that went right through the wicket of Kevin Sissel.
Well, the whistle really played the Bosse's favor that time, because Harrison caught the ball from the first kick at about the 20-yard line, 15-yard line. This time, they're going to start the drive on about the 15, 20-yard line.
Harrison takes over. Let's call it the 17.
I think one of the keys now is something Coach alluded to earlier. They got to get the ball to the fullback and get that trap going, try to set the rest of that offense up.
I think you're right. Bosse's been applying most of their pressure inside with their linebackers. See what they can pop.
Here comes Lander. He has Lamar and Wilson behind him, and that little inside reverse, and does he have enough breakaway speed? It's Sean Bennett, and he gets away from one defender, but Cook is right there. Jerry Cook with the touchdown-saving tackle right there.
I hope we have that on replay. I want to see where it comes from.
Well, I tell you, the safety, 39 for Bosse there.
Nathaniel Ussery, yeah, he came over and he really strung it out a little bit.
He did a good job. He took a good pursuit angle and just slowed Sean up enough. Sean ran through him, but then the next man for Bosse there, number 6, Cook, did a nice job of saving a touchdown.
So the Warriors on the march. Inside Bosse territory now at about the 48-yard line. And a little inside trap to Lamar, and Lamar busts down over the 40, very close to a first down.
That's the play that Harrison's been looking for, that inside trap, and they run it for years, ever since I can remember. And they do a good job up front. The guard comes over, makes a big block, and that time Chad Lamar, instead of running east and west, he went north and south and made sure he got that first down.
There may not be a better team at running that trap in the area.
No, it's been going on since Watson was there.
That is where Mitch Marsh cut his teeth as an assistant for the outstanding late Don Watson. It's Bennett on the reverse again, and this time the Bulldogs a little better prepared for that. And boy, I tell you what, the Warriors right now have a lot of players going in different directions, and it looks like it's confusing the Bosse defense a little bit.
You know, the difference in that play, it was the same play in reverse, but on the play they had the long run on is the defensive end went up the field instead of containment. He didn't look down. The defensive end on that side was Frazier. He just turned inside and let the play come to him.
You'll notice on the near side, number 32 for Bosse, that's Ontario Jackson. He became eligible yesterday. He's in the lineup tonight. He's practiced all along with the Bulldogs, and he is back in there after an outstanding sophomore season. Lander looking long. He's got Lamar, and there's got to be a penalty. He's going to catch it anyway, but they were going to have, I believe, face guarding on the defense.
No question about it. Right. The Bosse linebacker was running down without paying any attention to football and just face guarding Chad Lamar. But hey, Lamar went ahead and made the catch, and a fantastic effort on his part. He caught it falling to the ground.
I think Sean Cook was just dead in the water, and he was trying to do anything he could.
And that's a smart play on defense. If you're going to get burned, do something. Don't let him score the touchdown.
Right, and you know, Lander bought the time. There he goes with his play action. He breaks containment. He may have run for a long yard there, too.
They set it up. They faked the reverse, Coach, and they let Bennett come around and really set that up. Lamar slips out of the backfield from his fullback spot. Hey, he's open.
Lander doesn't run the ball much, but that's by design. He rushed for over 100 yards against Memorial last year, so he has that threat.
He does it when he needs it. This year has been a little bit different, but he has done that when it's been necessary. And that time, he had a man wide open, so throw the ball downfield. Hey, I'm a quarterback. I don't want to run the football. I was back there
You've
before,
been there,
man.
haven't you?
Oh, you kidding me? Let that other guy take all the hits.
You don't want those linemen falling on you.
Well, you know, Lamar's 6 foot, 195 pounds. You know, let him take all that.
It's going to be first and goal inside the 10. I think they're going to mark it at about the 9-yard line.
This is going to be a tough area, the red zone down in here for Harrison, because Bosse's really tough inside their 15-yard line.
The Bulldogs have brought in some couple of extra linemen, and it's Wilson right up the middle, and the Harrison offense just blew a hole. You could have driven a truck through that one.
Well, one thing I noted before the game, Dan, was Harrison's offensive line averages 243 pounds, as opposed to Bosse's defensive line averages 208. That time Wilson breaks one tackle at the line of scrimmage, great blocking up front, breaks one more tackle about the 2-yard line, and high steps it into the end zone. That's a real nice play.
He's got great feet. Boy, he was going through there, but he's moved a little lateral as he was going through.
Well, he scored 13 touchdowns coming into tonight's contest, so he knows where the end zone is.
Hamby on. He boots it, and I think it's going to be no good. It's no good. 4:37 left to go in the first half. The Warriors have taken a 13-7 lead.
The electronic things sale continues at King's Great Buys Plus with 12 months same as cash on everything store-wide. If it makes music, does your laundry, shows a picture, or cooks your dinner, it's on sale now with 12 months same as cash. Minimum $250 purchase. The electronic things sale with 12 months same as cash. Only at your locally owned King's Great Buys Plus across from Sam's Club on Vogel Road and in Lawrenceville.
If you thought 1993 was a good year at your local Ford dealer, we've got even more for 94. Now, every #1 selling full-size Ford F-150 has a driver's side airbag standard. Plus, the #1 selling compact pickup is even better. Check out the new Ranger Splash Super Cab 4x4. And this year, every Ford car and truck comes with 24-hour roadside assistance. So expect more for 94 when you check out America's #1 cars and trucks. Any questions? Your Ford dealer has the answers. Save on all the 94s at your local Ford dealer today.
It went 4 plays in a very quick 83 yards, and it's now 13-7. Warriors on top.
I saw Coach Marsh out instructing Craig Stewart on his kickoff this time. I don't think they want to kick it quite as short as they did last time. I'll be interested to see what he does.
Let's see if they give Jacobs a chance at this one. And it's going to be Woolfolk at about the 20. He's up to the 25, make it the 30. He's got a little bit of a lane there. He's up to right over the 40-yard line.
Well, either way you do it, they get the ball to the 40-yard line. So whether you squib it or whether you kick it a little bit deeper.
They've got 6 skilled people there in the back 2 lines, so any of those guys that get it are going to give a decent return.
And I think some of those have been to the state track meet, so you know, you don't want to kick it to a whole lot of them back there. I can tell.
You know that. It's 3 of them, Scott, to be exact.
I may just kick it straight out of bounds, guys.
Oh, you know, that's not a bad idea.
They're going to get it there anyway. It cuts down the chance of running it back. The Warrior defense getting a little help from their fans on the near side. The Dogs on the far side there. Their fans trying to whoop it up. Jacobs has got it. He's got some running room across the far side. He picks up about 8 yards on the play.
I noticed Big Ed's back down at a tackle right now. He wasn't in on that play, but he really stood up that tackle and allowed the pursuit to get to him.
Well, I'm sure they're trying to move half the way around just to try to confuse Bosse a little bit on offense.
I tell you, I'm really impressed with this Mike Moser, the offensive lineman for the Bulldogs. He's really doing a great job. He's been on the ground a lot. He's throwing some good blocks in there for Jacobs. Frazier, the tight end, lines up on the near side. We've got Jay Wright on the near side. I believe that's Cook on the far side. Make it Woolfolk, and this is Jacobs right up the middle.
I think he's got the first down there.
Yeah, I think so. Right on the 50-yard line. He just had to get the ball, the nose over the 50. First down, no question.
Across midfield now, another first down, the first one in this drive.
But if you're Harrison, that was a successful play. You held Jacobs to 2 yards. Anytime you can hold him to 2, that's a big play. He's impressive. I've seen a bunch of good tailbacks come through here. And I don't know if there's been anybody any better with possess more speed and ability and size than Mac Jacobs.
It reminds me a little of Suggs. You remember him back at Harrison.
Jacobs is back in there. Bosse coming with some people. Jacobs got past him. He's got a lane on the right side. He's into the secondary and finally brought down inside the 35-yard line at about the 34.
One of the comments you made a while ago was the defensive ends for Harrison. That time, they got blown right off the football.
Yeah.
There was no defensive end there at all. Mac had an open run. Hopkins is down inside that time. Jacobs breaks it outside. Two great lead blocks on Sissel and pick up big yardage for the Bulldogs.
That's not something that Kevin Sissel wants to see.
No, you don't want to see
you don't want to see two blockers and Jacobs behind him.
No.
He did a pretty good job of containing those two blockers.
That's like the nightmares he probably had all week. This came true.
Elkins under center. And it's going to be Fox right up the middle. And he's got about 5 yards. I'll tell you what, that Deion Fox is a load, guys.
Oh, he has got that low center of gravity. All you're tackling there are thighs and shoulders. He's a tough runner.
5'10", 215 pounds. He's a co-captain on this team. He plays fullback, plays linebacker.
One thing, Dan, now the clock's becoming a factor. We got 1:55 and ticking. That's a factor inside here because that's not a whole lot of time left.
Elkins may have to go to the air here.
Also keep in mind, Scheller is hit from 42.
I saw him kicking 50-yarders before the game tonight. Jacobs goes left. He's got some room. Might want to try to get outside. Falls down. Think he's going to be short of the first down.
How many timeouts does Coach May have left? We have that statistically.
I think he's got all 3.
Yeah, I don't think either team's using timeout yet, so everybody has all 3 left.
That's in his favor there. He's got 3, and then he's got a good field goal kicker. He's looking to get points on the board.
Yeah.
And a first down for the Bulldogs.
And he wants 6, too. I don't think he'd settle for 3. He's wanting 6.
The only reason he wants Andy Scheller on the field is to kick the extra point. He doesn't want a field goal at this point. And if the Bulldogs would score and Scheller can provide the extra point, it would be the Bulldogs that would most likely go in with the lead at the half. Elkins on first down, gives it to Jacobs. Jacobs gets it strung out, and it looks like we've got a holding call as Jacobs is thrown out of bounds on the far side.
I think you're right, Dean. That came in the area of holding inside there in the trenches, and Harrison more than likely will push him back 10 yards. Although Mac did get thrown for a loss on the down.
He may, I don't know, yardage is valuable down here. You want to get him as far away as you possibly can.
Yeah, I see Coach Marsh is flagging him back, so.
Yeah. See, Scheller's got such a long leg. You want to get them out of field goal range.
That's a real good point. Also, you're going to put him back now where it's going to be a real passing situation as opposed to maybe 10 or 12 yards where the draw or the sweep is still an option for him.
And I don't think there's any doubt that the Warriors will come after him here.
Once again, it's that gamble. You know, Coach, you've been there 100 times, and you're going to bet whether I can get my linebackers on your quarterback before you hit your receiver down the field. Man, I tell you, that's just part of the game that's really fun to watch.
One of the last times we saw this, Wright was wide open, and they couldn't get the ball to him.
That's exactly right.
Now pattern. You know, one of their favorite patterns is to get in that split backfield, bring Jacobs out of the backfield, try to get him isolated on the linebacker.
They marked that from the spot of the infraction instead of the line of scrimmage. I don't think that's right.
Elton Funches comes in on the far side.
What call did they give?
They called holding, and it went from the infraction, which was downfield, instead of from the line of scrimmage.
Inside the 30. Off play action. Elkins steps up with a nice throw. He's got a man, and he dropped it. Dropped
the ball. 36.
I think that was a touchdown for Sean Cook.
Perfect throw by Elkins. I mean, wide open. Cook's down there, and the ball goes right through his hands. And you mentioned it in the pregame, Dean. Elkins has had some bad luck, and this is another case of that.
He steps up in the pocket nicely.
Great job of avoiding the sack. Lays the ball right on the money. Kendall Wilson's beat.
Yeah, the ball's on the money.
Should have been caught. Really should have been a touchdown.
That could have been 6 points, and we could have been tied. 58 seconds now left to go in the first half, and what a half of football it has been. I don't think I can stand another half like this, guys.
Oh, I can. I like it.
Elkins this time gives it to Jacobs. Jacobs has got some running room on the near side. He's inside the 20. Down to the 15-yard line down to about the 16-yard line.
I think you'll see a timeout now. You'll see a timeout.
Jeff May on the Bosse far side. He wants a timeout.
Man.
And Mac Jacobs is just explosive.
I mean, he's just a step away every single time going into the end zone. It's amazing. He can do it from anywhere on the football field.
He goes to the left and then cuts back to the right. What vision?
Yeah, he's got great peripheral vision. He's got a good feel for football and running the ball. That's something only a great back has. He knows when to slide and bounce.
And the tough thing about defending him is you're used to taking pursuit angles against guys who aren't that fast. So when you come up against a guy who does have his speed, you start taking the short angle instead of the deep angle, and a lot of times you miss him.
This brings up an interesting play here. We've got a third, don't we, guys? We got third, and it's not short, so they're going to have to put, I would think they'd put the ball on the ground.
It's maybe 3 or 4. We've got one of the Harrison players injured on the play, and he's coming off with Coach Marsh now. I think he's pleading his case to go back in.
Well, I think he might have gotten something in his eyes or maybe his head dinged a little bit, but it's number 62, Chad Barnett.
Yeah,
Barnett, one of the defensive tackles up front, 5'11", 218-pound senior.
They brought in Chris Almack, a sophomore, number 50, for Harrison to take his place. He's 6'2", 254-pound junior.
There are a lot of seniors on that Harrison defense.
I think they start 9 seniors on defense, and that's one of the reasons they're 7-0, I'm sure.
That's correct. Sissel and Red are the only non-seniors. So we come back in the eye, 3rd down and 3, 45 seconds left to go, and the Bulldogs trying to punch it in here.
Definitely in Scheller's range, Coach, and
right now.
They probably go to Jacobs here on the ground again.
They do. It's a big hole on the left side. Jacobs breaks it back, and again, he is brought down and maybe just a tackle away from going all the way.
I don't think Coach will call a timeout this play. I think he got a first down. He's going to take advantage of the clock being stopped now. He'll hurry, get to the line.
It is a first down.
Yeah. Now, you might see a pass. Knowing Jeff, you might see something on first down.
And it would be a smart play because it would stop the clock if it's incomplete and give you a chance to get your kicker in.
Inside 30 seconds now, down to 25. Elkins brings him up. He fakes it to Jacobs. He looks over the middle. He's got a man, and it's right through the hands.
Yes.
Ed Hathaway, right back there in the middle, playing just kind of a center field from his linebacker. Hey, when a big tackle gets back there, he's not used to catching that football.
He sometimes lines up at a defensive tackle slot. He can also line up as a linebacker, and that time he got great depth on his drop.
He was right there, but he did everything but make the play.
I think he was fighting the ball off.
I tell you what, Elkins is doing a good job of stepping up because he's getting some pressure from the outside. He's stepping up in the pocket, letting those guys run by him, and he has really played a good half, I think.
He has. He's been real cool.
Elkins has had a couple of balls that have been dropped that could have been caught. This time, he gets it to a guy that's not going to drop it. That's Jacobs. Jacobs looking for a hole, cuts it back. He's looking for some room. He slips a little bit, and he's brought down.
Timeout.
And the clock down to 8 seconds before it gets stopped.
You got to bring the kicking team in now, don't you?
Here comes Scheller.
You might have time.
I don't know. With 8 seconds, I think Jeff May will take another shot at it, guys.
End zone, you think?
You might have once to the end zone, but you better not take much time because if you do, that's it.
You don't have time to dance around back there, that's for sure.
What do you do, Scott? Do you apply pressure here if you're Coach Marsh?
I think you do. I think you fire your people in there, play man-to-man like you have. Only reason I say that is I think they've gotten some decent coverage out of their defensive backs, and you want to try to make Elkins make a wrong decision. If he sits back and has some time, he's doing a good job. The times he's gotten in trouble is when there's been a little pressure in his face.
Got to be a 3-step drop.
Yes.
You go back to 5-step drop, you're going to eat all of 8 seconds.
Just the three, you see it all the time in the pros. 3-step drop, the receiver runs a straight fly route, you throw it to the corner. If your man doesn't get it, you kick the field goal, you go in 13-10. I mean, that's good football.
And you hope the guy doing the clock will stop the clock before it runs out.
Well, it's the home clock man tonight. So
I wasn't going to say that.
Bosse will kick off to start the second half.
And I know that's a big factor, too. Bosse would like to get it in because they know that they don't get it first when the half opens up.
Okay, coming to the near side is Cook. And that is right, number 81. And that
Single
21
back.
is Funchess.
Triple wideouts on this side.
They fake, they split the receivers. Elkins is going to throw it up. Time is probably going to run out. Nope, we've got 2 seconds to go.
I tell you. That took a lot of time back there. They're lucky to have 3 seconds left on the clock, really.
Elkins did a lot of dancing around to only have 5 seconds go off the clock, and it looks like Scheller's going to come on and try to kick the field goal.
They went ahead and took the timeout just to make sure they get everything straight, because there's no sense in going into the locker room with an extra timeout.
It'll bring up a 4th down and 6 yards, and the Bosse kicking team is on, and if he can get it in here, it would be 13-10 at the half.
Man, really, that's a different complexion too, Scott. You know, if they go in down 3, you got a guy like Scheller there, so you're not playing for just a touchdown.
No question about it. And with a guy like him in your arsenal, a lot of high school teams don't have that ability, Coach. I mean, they would have to go for it on 4th down and 6 if you didn't have a decent kicker. So a guy like that really adds a dimension that not every team has.
We've got 2 pretty good ones here tonight.
Yeah, pretty good ones. Scheller being the experience that has been around for a while and really kicked well. Hamby is really got some talent, but he hasn't done it very much.
He'd rather kick that round ball.
He's kicked, the ball's a little funny shaped for him.
I watched Scheller over here kicking at times, and Coach May coaches him the right way. He gets away from him. He lets him come over on the varsity field, never gets around him. So this kid's in a world of his own.
He's going to kick it from about the 15-yard line. That would be a 25-yarder, and this is well within.
Oh, yeah, distance is not a question here.
I saw him have plenty of distance from 50.
Oh, they're going to ice him.
Well,
out. That's smart.
Hey, you know,
smart.
It's like we just said, why go into the halftime with an extra timeout? It's not going to do you any good.
You certainly don't need him.
You know, they don't know him very well because he's oblivious to what game he's playing.
Yeah. Well, what you try to do, you try to get him out of the normal routine. If you get him standing around back there a little bit, it might be a case where he doesn't go through his normal routine, look at the tee, all that good stuff, and maybe he makes a mistake. I doubt it. I'm really betting on him making the field goal.
Kickers are a little different breed.
I never coached a soccer-style guy. I couldn't communicate with him.
Well, they speak a different language. I don't know what it is, but
the thing Coach May likes is a language from his foot. It's usually good. This isn't automatic, though. He's a lefty. He's on the right side of the field.
Scott, being a former quarterback, did you hold for extra points and field goals much?
Never much at all. There was different philosophies by different coaches. A lot of times they like their special team guys to do it so they can go practice while the rest of us real players are playing.
All right, Scheller from 25 yards. It's 3 seconds left to go here in the first half. It's 13-7. It's down, it's up, and it looks good, and it is. And it's 13-10. We've played 1 half of football here at Inlow Field, and the undefeated Bosse Bulldogs have just got on the board, and the Warriors lead it by the score of 13-10. And I think we're going to be able to get Mitch Marsh hooked up here and be able to talk to him on the field right now. Coach is getting hooked up, and Mitch Marsh right now leading on the scoreboard by the score of 13-10. Coach, what do you think about this right now?
Well, I think it's everything everybody said it would be.
You came right out and pulled some trickery.
Well, it really wasn't trickery. It's pretty much our offense. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we do all the time, so that really wasn't anything any different.
We got a guy up here who'd like to ask you a question. I think you know him.
Well, you're using the play action pretty well and setting it up. I noticed the trap to Lamar was there. What are you going to try to do, you think, in the second half?
Well, we're going to continue really basically scouting the same plan. We know we have to throw the football some to get them out of there.
I think that was a moral victory, maybe holding them to a field goal down here at the end of the half. What do you think?
I think you're right. Yeah, we get the ball when we come back. I'd like to have a touchdown lead. I'm real bad on the extra point down there. I'd like to have a touchdown lead, but we'll take a lead with what we got. You know, if they want to call it off now, we'll call it off.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot. I'll let you get back to your team. Great first half of football.
Thanks.
Right now, 13-10, and Scott, I tell you, we expected a great game, and we're certainly seeing it. We thought it would. We talked about high scoring, low scoring, and we've seen kind of something in between.
I've been to a bunch of these kind of games before, and sometimes you come into them with high expectations, and occasionally they don't live up to it. Tonight, exactly the opposite. It came in with high expectations, and it is fantastic so far.
We've played 1 half of football, and right now, the Warriors having the better of it by the score of 13-10. We'll be back with more halftime right after this.
New Cymax Smile, the ultimate tooth whitening toothpaste. America's least abrasive toothpaste. Cleans teeth cleaner, whiter, brighter. New Cymax Smile.
5 things that make Old National, Old National. Naturally, ours go out of their way to give you the very best, more than a smile, Then there's because we respect our customers. And 4, because your business is important. One more thing. We understand you because we are you. We're your... Here at... That's 5.
We got the latest, the hottest in stock right now at Premier Video. One-stop convenience is what you expect. At Premier Video, it's what you get. We got more copies of what you're looking for. A world of video when you walk through the door. We got the latest, the hottest in stock right now at Premier Video.
Introducing 3 great ways to save at iMart. 1, with affordable generic eyewear starting at just $38.87 every day. 2, with spherical soft contact lenses that start at only $38.87 every day, and that includes a care kit. 3, with name brand eyewear at 30 to 60% off every day. Choose from thousands of frames. 1-hour service, eye exam 7 days a week, and 30 to 60% off every day. Where else but iMart?
The Electronic Things sale continues at King's Great Buys Plus with 12 months same as cash on everything store-wide. If it makes music, does your laundry, shows a picture, or cooks your dinner, it's on sale now with 12 months same as cash. Minimum $250 purchase. The Electronic Things sale with 12 months same as cash. Only at your locally owned King's Great Buys Plus. Across from Sam's Club on Vogel Road and in Lawrenceville.
The Vanderbilt County Gaming Deadline. Details tonight on Newswatch at 10.
There you see the score. Harrison Warriors 13, Bosse 10. Both teams coming in undefeated through the first 7 weeks, and you know, we saw some wild stuff right off. We've seen some stuff that we haven't seen. We saw an onside kick. We talked about in the pregame how Bosse would have to pressure Keith Lander. They've done that for the most part. He's been on his backside a couple of times.
Well, he has been on his backside, and they've done the one thing that nobody's been able to do this year, and that's sack him. And that's really caused some trouble for Harrison. It's slowed him down. It's taken him out of a couple of drives and caused him to kick. But on the other hand, he's also gotten away a couple of times and made a big play. The touchdown to Matt Elliott in the corner of the end zone was a nice play, and it was really a fact that Keith Lander got away from the pursuit and bought himself a little extra time.
Without the pressure, we may very well have a 20 or 27-10 game, but they have really gotten the pressure on Lander, and vice versa. It could have certainly gone the other way where Jacobs has been free a couple of times.
Well, no question about it. Jacobs has been free, and, you know, he's just one step away, Dean, from breaking a touchdown. I mean, every single time he touches a football, which is really impressive, and you very rarely see a high school kid that possesses that kind of ability.
He is about almost the size of a young Eric Dickerson. He doesn't quite have the bulk. He's got the size. He certainly has the strength. He has the ability that they don't come in a package very often, where you get the guy that can move and also the guy that can run over you.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because he does look like Dickerson on a smaller version a little bit. He runs up and down as opposed to really leaning his shoulders forward, but he runs so fast, and he hits the corners. He's not afraid to take a hit. In fact, I've read several times he enjoys delivering a hit. So when you get a tailback that says that, hey, you got to love it, especially when he runs a 40 and 4.5 or whatever he does that in. So he's really talented. In fact, I mean, I'd have a hard time finding anybody in the state maybe any more talent than Matt Jacobs.
I tell you what, who would have ever thought we were going to sit here in the middle of October in our shirt sleeves? We're almost warm up here. It is an absolutely gorgeous night for football. It's in the upper 60s. It may be 70 degrees out here, folks, and it is just absolutely beautiful.
Well, it's a pleasant surprise, because you know what can happen in October in Evansville, and especially here at Inlow Field. Anything can happen. But I tell you, the field's in really good shape. It's the best it can be. And the guys have done a good job getting it ready tonight.
We've had some of that bad weather already, and I'm sure we're going to see it again. But tonight, it's a beautiful night, and we've got a beautiful football game, folks, and there's a lot more to come right after this timeout.
A world of shopping is here for you. Washington Square and Mondale Commons.
There's a new world of shopping waiting for you at Washington Square and Lawndale Commons during our anniversary sale. To celebrate our new world, we offer this beautiful ornament, free with a purchase of $50 or more at any store. Join Elder Beerman and Sears in celebration of our anniversary.
For 25 years, Demple Wolf has given you value. Demple Wolf has given you selection. Demple Wolf has given you service and credibility. The 94 models are here now, and Demple Wolf offers you even more of the services you've come to expect from the area's leading Ford Lincoln Mercury dealer. And now, announcing Demple Wolf's newest addition to our quarter-century-old establishment, the Friendly Wolf. Always offering a great selection and low prices. Demple Wolf Ford Lincoln Mercury. Our people make the difference.
The sea, birthplace of all life. Since time began, its rolling voice has set us dreaming. This fall, some will embark on an adventure beyond imagination, in a future almost close enough to touch.
Son, what do you see out there?
Beneath the surface lies the future.
Sequest, Sunday nights at 7 on the One for You, WFIE-TV, Channel 14.
It's 13-10 on the scoreboard, and Scott Marsh, usually the statistics in a game like this, 13-10 would be fairly even. And let's take a look and see what we have in the first half.
Well, yeah, you start off right with first downs, Dan, and Harrison comes out with 7 first downs in the first half. Bosse has had 11. Pretty even there, fairly balanced. When you go to the rushing yards, it's a little one-sided. Harrison's rushed the ball 11 times for 44 yards. You look across the streak there, and 20 carries for 106 yards for Bosse, and most of that being Mac Jacobs with an occasional Deion Fox blast up the middle. But they're averaging about 5 or so yards on their carries, and that's a real good average to have.
That's I think that pass, the completions on the Bosse side, Harrison was going to make Bosse throw it 2
no
for
question
9.
about it. Harrison's 6 out of 9 passing, but Bosse's only 2 out of 9. Elkins has had a couple of them drop tonight. He's also had some pressure in his face, and that's the risk you take, you know. I mean, if a team hasn't been real successful at it all year, they were coming in 30%. We're running about 30% right now.
He's completed actually 4, but 2 to the wrong jerseys.
Well, you know, his team wears white jerseys sometimes too, but tonight they're in red, and he's thrown 2 interceptions. One of them, Jeremy Redd, made a big interception for Harrison down in the end zone, but really the passing game has been enough of a factor that it might have loosened Harrison up and allowed Jacobs to run the ball, Dean, inside. And one thing in the fumbles, Harrison hasn't lost a fumble. Bosse lost 1. Passing yards tonight, Harrison's thrown for 78 yards as opposed to Bosse's 2 completions for 22 yards.
Bennett had 39 of those 44 yards. He's done that on just 2 attempts.
Well, he's always the big target and always takes a chance. If he gets the ball in his hand, he could go all the way. He's the only thing that Harrison has really, him and Kendall Wilson, with the speed that can match up to like a Mac Jacobs. And he's averaging, you know, close to 20 yards a catch coming into the night, and he can do the big plays for him.
Mike Madriaga, who is in the booth with us tonight. He's also the athletic director for the Evansville Vanderburg School Corporation. And Mike, you had to go do a little work here at halftime. Thanks for rejoining us in the booth. We're not going to let you catch your breath at all. We're going to have you go inside Jeff May's head. And what is he telling the Bosse Bulldogs right now in the locker room?
I think what Jeff's trying to tell them is to be patient, because they knew coming in the type of ball club they were going to play. And Harrison is exactly that. They're patient, and both offensively and defensively. And probably the focus of their attention in that locker room right now is with the defensive group, because Harrison made that last drive awful easy. It's about 3 plays, wasn't it? And that's not typical with their type of defense. They don't like to give up the big play. So 4 plays to be exact. So I think the focus of the attention will be there. They're not going to change anything offensively. Mac's going to do his thing, and I agree with Scott. I think Elkins has had a better half than the statistics show. He's had a touchdown pass drop. He's had a couple balls right on the money. So he's had a decent first half. So it's everything has been built 13-10. Doggone it. Good ball game.
Do you think Bosse will continue to try to throw the ball in the second half? They threw it 9 times in the first half. They only threw it 5 a week ago in the entire game.
Okay, and that was in a rain game, though, but they're going to have to. I mean, sure, the blunt of the offense is going to be with Mack, and Fox is going to get his carries there. But I'm still waiting on a play, and I may be wrong on this, but last week, the play that broke Wright's back was a little reverse. And I don't know if they scored on it, but it sure disrupted the pursuit of Wright. And I keep looking for Woolfolk to line up tighter than normal as a flanker, and that's an indication that he's going to come back with it, and that might help him, at least take the heat off. It has when Sean Bennett's done it for Harrison. Boy, when he comes back, anytime he comes back, the defense just sits still, and they watch it.
Bennett really creates a lot of things. He's almost used as a decoy, and he's really seemed to open things up. Harrison just has a lot of weapons.
Oh, they do. I alluded to this at the beginning of the game, and they're a triple threat. That little trap play, it's already shown what it does to a defense. It makes you look hard at the inside of the perimeter of the field. And then Lander, he's such a great back. I was fortunate, Dean. I coached a couple of kids like that. Alonzo Hall back when I first started, and I had Robbie Young later. And both of them could break containment, and they'd drive you crazy on the outside. So, you know, when you're trying to defense Lander, doggone, you got to know that if he turns a corner, something good's going to happen. He hadn't tucked it away yet, but if that kid tucks it away and takes off, he's very elusive. And then the final ingredient in their offense is Sean Bennett, and they've completed one to their backs out of the backfield. So they've got a total package. I look for Harrison to be very tough, very competitive in this 5A tournament. And I'd be very surprised or not if they're playing for a championship.
It'll be very interesting after the game because both teams are going to line up, and whoever wins will be presented the East Bowl Trophy. And they are doing that around the city. They're also having the Battle of the North Side tonight. North is being the home team at Central Stadium. Of course, both teams play at home there. Central, the visiting team tonight. And out at the Wrights Bowl, it is Wrights and Mater Dei. And, of course, every time you get those two teams together, it's always a wild one. And you can bet Mater Dei will have the ball flying in the air tonight.
No question about it. Those natural rivalries have developed throughout the years, whether there's been a trophy or not. And there happens to be a piece of hardware involved with it now. But I remember when I was a senior, we came in here, played Bosse. We were 4-0. They had maybe won one ball game. We're ranked 12th in the state. They beat us 21-14 because they were fired up for the ball game. And that's the kind of things that develop in these city schools. And I tell you what, I get to have a chance to say this, but Southern Indiana football is tough, top-notch football. We play tough games every week, week in and week out. And I think that maybe sometimes other parts of the state might forget that, and I know that anytime I get a chance, I always remind them every time I can.
This SIAC it's black and blue.
It is.
Scott will allude to that. You just get beat up every week, and we'd like to have some healthy teams come out of these national rivalries for the tournament.
And you know, one game we haven't talked about yet, and I'll bet it's going to be a whale of a game out in Paradise tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And that is always a good rivalry game, too, when you get Castle and Memorial together. And I think both teams are a lot better maybe than their records show, and they might have something to say in this postseason tournament.
Yeah, it's a war up there when you go up to Paradise and play that last game of the season. They like to beat Evansville people.
If you want to look at who maybe has the best shot, the Bosse Bulldogs certainly look like they have things set up. They've got an awfully tough first game as they play at Vincennes. That's not an easy place to play.
No.
If they get by the Alice's, they might be able to get into the tournament pretty good.
You're right, but they're going to be in the same bracket as North. I wish they would have been separated there, but either one of those two teams can represent Evansville well.
You have been in a regional final as a coach. You played here against Greenwood. I remember standing out here in the rain on a cold Saturday afternoon. What is it like for these kids? Do you think they're thinking about the tournament at this point and getting that far?
No. They're concentrating right now on the opposition in this half of football. They'll get to that tournament later on, and they'll just take it week by week.
The tough game was last week because this game was a week away. Both teams have been thinking about it. These kids grew up together. And they get a chance now tonight to battle it out. 7-0, 7-0. Heck of a ball game.
I'm glad nobody stubbed their toe at this point because we're having too much fun.
Oh,
if
yeah.
they were 7-0, we might not be doing the game. But, folks, it's been a beauty for a half of football. No rain in the forecast. It's a beautiful night. And we're expecting a great second half of football. And it comes up right after this.
Is a 4-year member of the marching band. electronic things sale continues at King's Great Buys Plus with 12 months same as cash on everything store-wide. If it makes music, does your laundry, shows a picture, or cooks your dinner, it's on sale now with 12 months same as cash. Minimum $250 purchase. The electronic things sale with 12 months same as cash. Only at your locally owned King's Great Buys Plus. Across from Sam's Club on Vogel Road and in Lawrenceville.
Chelsea's 10th birthday celebration continues with 4 new dinners that let you dine 2 for $10. Chelsea's Zesty Border Chicken, our classic lasagna, hearty beef stroganoff, and Chelsea's delectable white fish dinner. Any 2 of these new dinners for $10 during our 10th birthday celebration. Planning a holiday party? Large or small, now's the time to call Chelsea's. So cheers to 10 years of great taste at the corner of Green River and Lincoln in Evansville, Chelsea's.
The fun has just begun at Ben Franklin Crafts. Come celebrate with our fabulous Fall Craft Circular. Save on literally hundreds of popular seasonal items throughout the store. And don't forget, free project sheets make crafts easy and fun to do. And as a special gift for you, receive a free Father Christmas print with any purchase of $25 or more at Ben Franklin Crafts.
For crafts and floral, framing and fun, the fall has just begun at Ben Franklin Crafts.
The news is everywhere, and so is Newswatch. More in-depth coverage.
Tonight in our exclusive special report.
More live news.
Just moments ago, we showed you
weather reports you can count on.
As you can see, Doppler radar shows you just where the storm is.
Whether you live in Indiana, Illinois, or Kentucky, trust the Tri-State's #1 name in news. Newswatch at 5, 6, and 10 on the one for you, WFIE-TV, Channel 14. Newswatch at 10, only on WFIE-TV, Channel 14. WFIE-TV's Touchdown 93 special, Harrison versus Bosse, the battle for the city championship. Brought to you in part by Chelsea's, Dimple Wolf Ford, iMart, King's Great Buys Plus, Old National Bank, and by Premier Video Superstores.
Back here at Inlow Field, where the Harrison Warriors, 4th in the Class 5A, taking on the Bosse Bulldogs, 3rd ranked in the Class 4A, and it is 13-10 Warriors on top right now. And we've got a couple other scores from around the city and the rivalry on the north side. Guys, look at this one. North leads Central at the half, 14-0.
They have that trophy. They have the Beeler-Bilo North Bow trophy, and I don't guess they want to give it up.
And also at halftime, Castle 14 and Memorial 7.
Not really a surprise. Castle's got a good, strong ball club. Memorial played what they thought was their best game of the year last week. Castle has been up and down, but they're on any given night, they're a really pretty tough team.
We are going to try to get Jeff May as he comes back on the field for the Bosse Bulldogs. The Harrison Warriors have returned, and Mitch Marsh's team. And, Scott, what do you think Mitch was telling them there at the half?
Well, I'm sure he was saying, hey, good half, guys. We're up 3 points. We get the football. In fact, I can guarantee you one thing he said. We want to take this opening drive and march all the way down the field and put it in the end zone. Now, he knows that if he doesn't get a touchdown, he still wants to get a few first downs out of it. He wants a successful opening drive to reestablish the momentum on his side.
You know, there hasn't been a long, sustaining drive. Of course, if it goes 4 plays and 83 yards,
yeah.
He's not going to care about that.
Well, not at all, but, you know, anything it takes to get on the end zone, in the end zone.
All right, down on the field, I think we have Jeff May. Jeff, can you hear us? Down 13-10.
Okay.
Jeff, down 13-10 at the half. What'd you tell your guys there at halftime?
Well, we think we're in pretty good shape right now. We feel like we're in the ball game. We're able to move the ball well right now, and we're going to keep doing more of the same, trying to hit the quick trap plays and the sweeps like we have been in the first half, and we're just going to try to keep up with more of the same, and of course try to stop the big plays defensively.
You had to settle for a field goal at the end of the first half. I know you wanted that touchdown, didn't you?
I can't.
Yeah, I know you wanted
a lot of other feedback.
I know you wanted that touchdown at the end of the first half, didn't you?
I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback. I can't hear a question you're saying.
All right. Well, Jeff, good luck for the second half, and
okay.
Can you hear us now?
Thanks, Dean. Thanks a lot.
All right. Jeff May going, you know, guys, he needed to get his team back on track a little bit there. I don't think they're disappointed with that first half, but you know they wanted to get that they wanted to get in there and get that touchdown in the first half.
Well, no question about it. You don't want to come up empty when you get inside the 10-yard line like that. But like he said, I think he was happy with the field goal because it's better than nothing. It gives them the opportunity now to tie it with another field goal here in the second half, which that's a good situation for him. The big missed extra point by Harrison could come back to haunt them somewhere down the stretch.
It certainly could. 13-10 right now, and it is homecoming for Bosse, and Harrison right now spoiling a little bit, but I tell you guys, I think this second half, I think we may see some more of those big plays.
I think you're right. You know, something that's not alluded to very much, Dean, and I think should be, is the excellent coaching staffs that these head coaches have to work with. I learned when I coached for Coach Archio, and he said that he orchestrated, we played the music, and I really believe that. And I'd like right now to just tell you about some of these guys. Coach May, he's got Larry Parrott as one of his defensive coordinators. He's got Scott Riley, my old head coach's son, that works with the defensive backs, and he's the brains upstairs. He's got old Larry Merritt.
You know, I saw Scott Riley before the game. He must have thrown the ball on the line about 45 yards.
He thought he was a quarterback.
He could throw that ball pretty good for being a defensive coach.
And he's an old guy, too. You've got Larry Merritt, an old Rice guy, coaching the line. Chris Winstead, an ex-Harrison guy, is a freshman coach. And Bobby Esther is an old Central football player, is a Cub coach. On the other side, Mitch got an equally good coaching staff. He's got Harvey Robbins, who's the defensive coordinator, and Harvey's coming into his own. He's done a nice job with the defense. Brought in a guy from North Posey, Boonville, Larry Klein. He's doing a great job with the line out there. And Brett Sabo, he's done a fantastic job with the DBs and some of the specialty people. Mattori Bailey, great guy that's working with the Cubs. He does a great job of providing Mitch with those young players. And then Billy Martin. And I'm probably not naming a lot of the volunteer coaches. I know one of the volunteer coaches sitting two guys to my right here that keeps working with quarterbacks. And Mitch is awful lucky to have that kind of talent in the family. But, you know, we couldn't do it unless we had these great coaching staffs.
Scott, you know, one guy I know who's standing down on the sidelines right now who would like to be more involved is John Williams down there. He has gotten out of football, and he's now a principal. He's like Mike Madriaga here. He's chomping at the bit, but he'd only like to do it every once in a while.
Well, it's easy to get fired up on Friday night now. You know, right. Monday through Thursday, he might not be standing out there watching practice, I guarantee you.
You know, Scott, I've never missed a two-a-day. I just somehow can't gear myself and want to go out there and sweat for two-a-day practices.
Haven't missed those at all, have you?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I love the game of football, but I could have skipped right to the games.
Right. Just do away with that. I thought about going on the injured reserve list during the week, but Coach Morris Riley wouldn't go for that.
We may be surprising some people with our football tonight because NBC's Great Escapes movie, Lake Success, which was originally scheduled tonight, that was part 3,